So this video is going to show how we can break apart story problems and make those parts into equations. We can then solve the equations and get the answer to the story problems. We're going to use something that I like to call half math, where we use words instead of variables, at least at first, and then we substitute them for variables later. So our story problem for today is, if John is 3 times as old as Sarah, how old is John? We're going to go ahead and break this into parts, and then we're going to write a formula for each part of the story problem. Our first part tells us that John is 3 times as old as Sarah. Alright, so now we have that John, and the equation says is, and is means equals most of the time. And then we have that he is 3 times, so we write 3, and then times, and he's 3 times Sarah's age, so now we're going to write Sarah's name down. So we're going to let the names stand for the person's age, and now we're going to change those English words, the names, into single letter variables, like we see usually inside of equations. We're going to change John to the letter J, and we're going to write down 3 times, because he's 3 times Sarah's age, and we're going to change Sarah to the letter S. So the second part of the story problem tells us that Sarah is 6 years old. We're going to do what we did before, putting in the name and substituting for a variable, but this time we're going to do it all in one fell swoop. So now we're going to write down Sarah is, and is means equals again, and she's 6. So we're going to substitute in S for Sarah like we did before, and now we write S equals 6. So now we're going to use what we know and the 2 equations to hopefully find out how old John is. So we're going to write down our equations. From the first equation we have that John, which we substituted in for J, is equal to 3 times Sarah's age, which is going to be written 3 times, and we're substituting the letter S in for Sarah. Our second equation tells us that Sarah is 6, so we're writing S for Sarah, and then we're writing equals to 6 because Sarah is 6. We're just rewriting what we found earlier, but we're writing it side by side. Now we're going to go ahead and substitute in the 6 for Sarah in the first equation. So now we have J equals 3 times, but at this time instead of Sarah, we'll write the number 6. And 3 times 6 equals 18. So now we found out that John is in fact 18. So whenever we're solving story problems, remember, write down the problem in the half math, use words instead of variables, change the half math into a proper equation, and then we can solve for what the question is asking.